What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and the first thing I want to say, guys, is thank you for all the really great feedback on the last video, man. Many of you really appreciated all the explanations, the details, all the tips and tricks as far as improving your Guild Raid run. So I wanted to do a follow-up video because another request that I had was, can you use the same team against Rugal, especially since they don't have bleed and poison, right? Because the big thing against Nightmare Geese is the fact that Athena does have shock and chill in her kit, and that's a huge benefit against Geese. And the answer to your question is, oh yeah, absolutely. You can absolutely use the same team against Rugal, but it takes a little finagling and it takes a little bit different gameplay in order to do this. And I'll show you exactly how I did it. Now, obviously, guys, we're going to be using the exact same team. I'm not going to explain everything like I did in the last video. There's no need to repeat myself. Obviously, we're using Athena for her leadership, the 50% increase to EX fire, and 35% critical damage. We're using Cronin for all the increased target damage received that he has. I let you guys know that he has almost 95% increased target damage received if played properly. And then if you have the set card on him, it's going to be even more OP because it increased target damage received by another 10% on top of the imprint stones that we talked about in yesterday's video with the decreased defenses, right? And then Athena's going to have the Hotaru set on her to increase that critical damage. And then obviously Ivy is going to have the good old Soul Calibur set. And then we also have this stone right here. That is the Volume 7 stone to increase all of our damage. I said I wasn't going to repeat anything, but it looks like I just did. Now, as far as your strikers, guys, this is what's going to actually change in your run against Rugal because you don't have the relevant dots to get it done against this guy. If you really want to do the most damage possible, you need to have the actual dots so you can break that meter and then you can bring in Ivy and start doing tons and tons of damage. Well, if I remove my ugly mug here, you guys can see that we have Angel. Now, Angel deals poison damage to everyone on the screen. This is pretty damn OP. But if you guys click in here, you'll find that there are other characters that do have poison that you can actually use. There's lots of them that you can use. Well, actually a couple. You can use Bison here. You can also use Zhongfei, who is a completely free character that applies poison to all enemies on the screen for 10 seconds. Which is nice, guys. I mean, she does it for 10 seconds. It doesn't matter how much percent of attack. All that matters is that she applies every 1 second for 10 seconds. That is really nice, guys, right? The decreased skill cooldown isn't a big deal in all honesty, guys. For Athena, it doesn't even really matter. You could absolutely use Zhongfei, not a big deal at all. And then you're going to be using Hydra. Now, Hydra is a free-to-play character that's always available in the game that does apply bleed to everybody on the screen for 10 seconds. Now, the thing that's super important about playing with this team and using these strikers is you really want to time when you bring in your strikers, and you also want to break the meter at a certain point. So whenever you're going against Rugal, guys, you're going to start off with Athena, and then you're going to immediately switch to Ivy, do her 3PG, so that way you're going to have her concentrate ready to go. And a question I got asked in the last video was, how do you reset the second skill over and over with Ivy? Well, I mean, for those of you that don't know, in her core, whenever you have her EX core unlocked, Extreme Focus, this actually decreases the skill cooldown of her second and third skill over and over. Although we found out that she gets the most damage when you just go 1-3, get the attack buff from the third skill, and just hold the second skill down. Don't tap it, just hold it down and she'll repeatedly hit it over and over. She needs to be A5 in order to do this, which most players are going to have. But anyways, after you do the 3PG for Ivy, then you're going to immediately switch to Cronin. You're going to do his skills, and then you're going to bring in his striker right before you bring in Athena. And I'll show you exactly, guys, the timing that you're going to be doing. After you bring in your striker for Cronin, you're going to apply your bleed, then you're going to bring in Athena and you're going to bring in her poison striker. Then both dots are going to be applied for about 9-second duration or almost 10-second duration together. This is key for trying to break that meter at the exact right time. Whenever you bring in Athena and both of them dots are applied, you're going to hit her third skill for her hyper armor, you're going to hit her second skill, and then you're going to hit her first skill. You're going to try to break that meter down, all right? You're going to try to break that meter for Rugal. When it's in the red, when both dots are applied, break it down to where it's about 35%. 35% is the sweet spot. You can get away with 40% a lot of times, but when you get down to 35 or 32%, that is the sweet spot. That's when you're going to break that meter perfectly every time with Athena. So what I did for this run, guys, is I took the liberty of slowing down some certain moments in the fight so you guys can actually see exactly what's going on, all right? So like I said earlier, we switched to Ivy. We do our 3PG, right? And after the 3PG, then we're going to bring in Cronin. Now, do not apply your darkness after you use Ivy. Never do this. Never apply darkness, because if you do, the meter will get broken too fast. Now, I want you guys to watch this, all right? I'm going to slow it down, and you're going to see exactly what we're doing. You see right now there's 1 second left on Athena's tag cooldown, okay? And you see that Hydern is still there, all right? Now, watch this. I'll bring in Hydern right before I switch to Athena. You see, now we're slowing it down, okay? You see the countdown Athena, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, and then I bring in Hydern. Then I bring in Athena and I bring in Angel as a striker. I do the 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Now on the top of the screen, guys, you can see it says 54%. That's the meter that I'm talking about. When you apply both dots and that thing turns red from your striker, in my case it's going to be Angel and Hydern, whenever you apply both dots it changes to red and you want to break it down. You want to get that meter down. It's about 35% is a really good sweet spot for it. If you get down to 40%, you can get away with it, but in the first rotation it really needs to be below 40% because you don't want Rugal exploding on you before you bring in Ivy, because it's going to throw your rotation all off. You want him to explode after you do the next rotation with Ivy, after her 3PG, and then you'll get in this nice set rotation where you're going to be able to do a bunch more damage, all right? So I want you to look at how much is on the meter as we go down here, okay? And as you guys can see, it's at 37% right now, and it reached to 36%, okay? 36%. Like I said, that's about the sweet spot, you know. And there the meter was broken, Rugal's stunned, and then we bring in Athena, we do her third, and then her second skill to get the 100% attack buff from her second skill, hit her second skill twice, and then we bring in Cronin, we do the 3, hold the 3 all the way down, charge it all the way up, then 1, 2, 3. And then we bring in Ivy, right? Now here's where it gets tricky, guys. After we do Ivy's concentrate, we do all that damage, now what we're going to do is we're going to switch to Cronin, okay? Now, Cronin's got an immunity core, which is pretty nice. Now, look, I bring Cronin in. We let him absorb the damage, okay? And I'll bring in Hydern as a striker. You'll see Hydern come down. Before I switch to Athena, there's Hydern coming down. Then I bring in Athena, apply Angel again, and now we have both dots applied again. All right, we're going to break that meter down to about 40% or less, okay? We're doing it, we're down to 40%, and there we go. We're down to 40% on that meter. We're going to do our 3PG, and remember, both dots are being applied. As those dots are being applied and Athena's doing her attacks, it is breaking that meter. Then we apply our attack buffs from Athena, and then we bring in good old Cronin, right? We do the third skill, charge it all the way up, let it go, 1, 2, and then the 3 gets reset from the second skill, and then bring in Ivy and start doing tons and tons of damage. Right? It's a tricky little thing to do, guys. Now, something else that you want to keep in mind is that, you know, you're going to reach a point where maybe Cronin takes too much damage. If he does, then you're going to have to let Ivy take the brunt of the damage, and you're going to have to let Ivy, you know, she'll take the damage. You'll switch to Cronin, bring in Hydern, and then you go back to Athena really, really quickly. Like, all you're going to do is bring in Cronin, bring in his striker, apply the bleed, and then bring in Athena, apply Angel's poison, have both dots applied. So you're just going to have to watch and see how much life you have on your character that's absorbing damage. In this little particular thing that you guys are watching, right now I'm letting Cronin absorb the damage because he does have an immunity core, and sometimes that thing will kick in, and he won't take any damage at all, as you guys are going to see right here, right? So we're doing our 3PG, right? And afterwards, we will bring in Cronin. Now watch, look at my life. Look at my life. Immunity core kicked in. We took no damage whatsoever. We're going to bring in Hydern. Then we're going to bring in Athena. Apply Angel poison. We got both dots applied. We use Athena's 3, 2, 1. We're going to break the meter down to 40% or less. You don't want to go too low, guys. If you get like down to 30%, you'll break the meter too fast, and that'll throw off your rotation as well. Now there you guys can see that Rugal actually went into an iframe, okay? Whenever Rugal hunches down, he's going into an iframe and he won't take any hits. The beautiful thing about these dot strikers, like if you're using Hyder and Zhangfei strikers, their dot will apply no matter what, whether he goes into an iframe or not. So you don't have to worry about that, right? They will stay applied. But whenever so I hit 3, 2, 1 for Athena. Whenever he goes into an iframe, I'll hit my awakened skill, so that way my skills are off cooldown. I'll hurry up and hit my skills again to try to break that meter down to 40% or less. This is very, very important for these runs, guys. You'll see me hit the awakened skill. He's in an iframe right now. He stands up, he's out of the iframe. I hit my awakened skill, and then I hit 3, and then I break the meter down to 32%. Okay, you don't want to go, guys, you do not want to get below 30%. Honestly, you'll break the meter way too fast. You don't want to do that. It's going to throw your rotation all off. 35% is really the sweet spot. And as you guys can see, let me back that up a little bit. As you guys can see, there's a little bit of the meter left right now. And that's kind of the sweet spot. Cronin can break that meter no problem. It's just that teeny little bit. Right, and that's kind of what you want, right? Because you want all those little 5-second buffs from his imprint stones. You want the 6-second buff from the increased target damage received, the 5-second increased target damage received buff from his core. You want all that to be applied so you can do the most damage possible. So if you break the meter with Cronin and then you bring in your Ivy, you're going to do insanity for damage, and that's the key. If it takes you a while to break the meter with Cronin, the moment you do that first hit, guys, his increased target damage received is being applied, and you're losing time on that increased target damage received. You know, if you have a 6-second increased target damage received and you spend 1 second using Cronin, then you got 5 seconds where all that's being applied to your Ivy when you're doing damage. If you waste, 3 seconds using Cronin after your first attack, then you're only going to have 2-3 seconds left of increased target damage received whenever you bring Ivy in. You're going to do less damage. So we break it, and booyah. Booyah. And I'll leave you guys a full entire run just like I did in the last video to show you exactly what happens. And you'll probably notice in that video that I will end up having to switch to Ivy eventually because Cronin will eventually take too much damage. Sometimes his immunity core kicks in. Sometimes it doesn't. There, it kicked in. I mean, if it kicks in every time, it's pretty damn sweet, right? And yeah, 34% right there on the meter, and then boom, shakalaka, and we can start doing tons and tons of damage. We'll apply our third skill and our second skill twice, bring in Cronin, break the meter with Cronin, and then bring in Ivy. And that's exactly how you want to do it, my friends. That's exactly how you want to get it done with this team using these strikers. And remember, again with Okita, you can just use the free version of Leona that offers 30% critical damage instead of Okita. So hopefully this video will help some of you out there as far as, trying to figure out how to use this team, because it can be a little tricky, guys. It's really important to get both of these dots applied at the same time. Timing is very, very important, and the most difficult thing really is whenever you do apply both dots and then you have Athena in there to try to get that meter down to that 35% sweet spot. And that's a tricky thing. Your eyes need to be constantly focused on what's going on in order to play with this team. But as you guys will see in the final run, it is astronomical. Now, I'm not going to do as much damage as I did against Geese because of the way we have to play. Because Rugal does his explosion, there's nothing you can do about that. Whereas Geese, you can just keep going through a solid rotation, go, 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 right? But with Rugal, he stops you, he will explode, and that throws your timing off a little bit. So you won't do quite as much damage to him, but still you'll see a pretty astronomical number with this team against Rugal. So guys, let me know if this video helped any of you out there. Let me know what other team you would like to see, and I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. D2+7 time. The link is in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See everybody. Take care.